Hey guys, it's Rob and Tosha. What?
I was making silly faces. Sorry.
Always making silly faces, but I'm the immature one in the relationship. We are in Chiang Mai, Thailand.
Sure
Pretty
are.
awesome. I'll show you guys the view out of our window here, but I gotta turn the camera this way for lighting purposes. Anyway, we've been here now about 24 hours and a little over.
Yeah.
And it's pretty awesome, pretty incredible. So we're getting ready to spend the next week here and do a moto tour. We'll tell you all about that. But I just thought it'd be fun to do a Kansas recap video while we're on the other side of the planet. After all, Tosha and I were both born in Wichita, and the other element of this is her and I have very differing opinions on the state of Kansas and especially Wichita. So without further ado, let's talk about Kansas. She goes, "What are we doing a video on?" I said, "Kansas." She goes, "My favorite topic."
Yay.
Yeah. Why don't you like Kansas?
It's just terrible. There's nothing there. There's family.
There is family there.
That's the
There
only
you go.
reason. Can we just get the family to travel to a different place to spend time together? There's just nothing to do there. There's nothing. There's no sports team. I mean, there's the hockey.
Whoa.
I know.
That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. Literally, the only reason that we're together, the way that we met, was the sports team in Wichita. Kansas doesn't have any sports teams.
I meant professional. Sorry.
I got to check. You wrote me the check. You were the director of finance for the hockey team.
You
I
did
played
not
with the
make
hockey
millions
team.
of dollars.
No, but I got to check. That's professional. Anyway,
Semi-professional.
there are minor league sports teams in Wichita
Yes.
and Topeka for that matter. But really, Tosha,
If there's one thing more that I dislike more than Wichita is Topeka.
Topeka's kind of rough. I know we haven't started this video out. I probably shouldn't let her talk first because now you're like, well, why would I watch the rest of the video? She just, yeah. But obviously she doesn't know what she's talking about because she said there's no sports teams in Wichita. You guys know that there are now. So let's go ahead and talk about good things about Kansas. Yes, our family's there. But the nice thing about Kansas is...
Period. Dot. That's it.
Kansas moves slower than the rest of the country.
Yeah,
and
decades.
That could be, yes, in some cases, decades. Like, they were the last... No, Oklahoma was the last one to get tattoos, to make tattoos legal. So...
Yeah.
Oklahoma also moves a step behind. But I'm talking about the day-to-day pace of the city, of the state. Even Wichita. Wichita's the biggest city in Kansas, which doesn't bode well for the city nor the state, I don't think. And even Wichita is pretty slow paced. Wichitans complain about having to go across town, but literally from one border to the other is 15 minutes, no matter how bad the traffic is. And the traffic isn't very bad at all. Ever. But they complain about traffic. So it's just about perception, right? But it's just it's a slower pace, And then Topeka, I think, is even slower. You've got some college towns in there. You got Manhattan and Lawrence and stuff. I'm not honestly too familiar with them because I'm not a college guy. But Rock Chalk Jayhawk and Emaw. So yeah. Go sports teams. Other than that, you'd think Kansas City. You're like, Rob, what about Kansas City? Here's the deal with Kansas City. It's actually split in two, and most of it is in Missouri. All the cool stuff, like the sports teams, you think the Royals and the Chiefs and all that, it's all in Missouri. Mm-hmm. But Kansas Speedway is on the Kansas City side. So there's a NASCAR track. Where they also do IndyCar and stuff. That's on the Kansas side. So there is a big racetrack. But other than that, there are no other racetracks.
Heartland Park.
Heartland Park in Topeka is now closed.
Oh, why?
Because Kansas sucks. Oh, I didn't mean to say that.
Because they're not progressive enough.
They're not. It's so beautiful facility. Beautiful facility. Heartland Park, Topeka. You're probably familiar with it. They have an NHRA drag race there every year. They have a beautiful road racing course. They have motocross course. All this stuff is a great motorsports facility, and they closed it down. And conflicting stories, but basically what it boils down to is the county, I guess, wanted to choke out the owner, bleed the owner out with by just raising the taxes to a ridiculous rate because they want that site to be an Amazon warehouse. Because that's what's going to pay the bills, and Amazon warehouses don't make noise
and
like
there's
racetracks
no
do.
other empty spots in Kansas
Absolutely.
to put an Amazon warehouse.
That's what's insane to me. It's like, why would you take something so cool that could be a tourist thing and make it a warehouse for Amazon? When you literally, to her point, have all this space. Kansas is wide open. So let's turn that into a positive. Kansas is wide open. It's beautiful. Stop. I'm not going to go down your path of negativity on this. Topeka, the county, whoever screwed up with Heartland Park. So no more racetracks other than Kansas Speedway and like a go-kart track in Kansas. Other than that, I guess it takes me to my next point. There's not much to do in Kansas. There really isn't. Everything is pretty much on the eastern side of the state. So you've got, if you go up I-35, Wichita, then you hit Topeka, then Kansas City. There's these 3 cities on that west side. Everything east of that is pretty barren. It's not to say there's not some cool stuff here and there.
What about Dodge City, man?
Dodge City is way out there in eastern Kansas, is in the middle of nowhere. So like if you want to explore like a cowboy town, then Dodge City, you could go there.
To a wedding there once.
We did go to a wedding there. It seemed like a cool place. We didn't have a whole lot of time to explore, but there's really just nothing out there. Big Brutus, I think, is in Pittsburgh or around Pittsburgh. The big steam shovel, that's pretty cool. So here's the deal. There's really not a lot to do there, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because if you just want to lay low, the cost of living is just so low. I think Wichita's definitely one of the top 10 cheapest places to live in America. And it's nice.
You kind of just pulled that up.
No, it didn't. There was actually an article last month being shared around Facebook.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
about
cheap.
this. I don't know what number it was, but I'm sure it's up there because it's super cheap to live there compared to other places.
I have something I like about Kansas.
Oh.
Liquor stores are open on Sundays.
Yes. Liquor stores are open on Sundays, so they're not totally not progressive. Anyway.
That's it.
Listen, we're from Kansas. Our home city is Wichita. We were born in the same hospital, actually. And we met thanks to the Wichita Thunder hockey team, which is a professional hockey team which plays
sports.
In the city. What does semi-professional actually mean?
It's not
It doesn't
like
make any sense.
It's not the pro, like, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. It's not the NHL.
Okay. Well, all
It's
the
great.
players make money.
Don't get me wrong. It's great. I love the Wichita Thunder,
Yes, we do.
obviously. I love you.
Love
But
to.
I'm just saying, like, the caliber of a team,
It's not a big league
Yeah.
city. It's not like, you know.
because the city's not a big league city,
No,
and
and
they're never gonna have a professional sports team.
but that's not necessarily a bad
Like-
thing. It's not a bad thing. So
All I'm saying is, you're never gonna have those things to do and everything that goes along with it. Think of how much Oklahoma City has changed since they got the Oklahoma
Yeah.
City Thunder, the first professional sports team.
it's changed a lot.
Yes.
And I was going to say that because I've lived in Tulsa. Well, so I've lived in Grand Rapids, Michigan, Des Moines, Iowa, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Oklahoma City, and of course Wichita. All of those cities are like the same thing in a different place.
Correct.
But Oklahoma City has done a lot of things. Oklahoma City's got oil money, but then so does Tulsa. Oklahoma City's done a lot of things to expand their portfolio, but also grow the city. And you see that with the Thunder going there. I think the citizens are more apt to like vote for an arena, for instance, to get a sports team, to get bigger concerts and that sort of thing. With Wichita, their arena was like 15 minutes north of the city. And when they said, hey, listen, we're going to build an arena downtown like any other major metropolitan area would do in the 2000s, the citizens freaked out. They're like, well, you're going to charge us taxes and there's going to be the traffic and all this stuff. And it's like, yes, but we're going to have an arena downtown. We don't have to drive 15 minutes to go to some antiquated old dump. I love the Kansas Coliseum, but it was just not like, honestly, that's the reason that the city's not going to progress, is just everybody's kind of stuck. They're very reserved and conservative, and that's okay, but I think part of that comes with also the demographics, like the jobs in Wichita.
Well, but it all boils down to being lacking. How do you say that? Not being progressive.
Right.
Because Oklahoma City, to your point, has done a lot of stuff about bringing in like diversified industries and companies and that sort of thing. It's not just oil money anymore. Like, they have it, but that's not it. Wichita doesn't do that.
Wichita's had poor leadership for
That's
decades.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The lack of progressive leadership in Wichita is what's holding it back across the board.
Yeah, that's a good point. Wichita's, I know we're talking a lot about Wichita here, but this is our hometown. We're very familiar with it.
I don't really know anything about any other part of Kansas.
There's not a whole lot.
Except Topeka, which is worse.
Topeka, it doesn't. Wichita has aircraft. So Cessna, Bombardier, Spirit with Boeing. I mean, Learjet. All these aircraft companies started in Wichita or are still based there. And that's where all the jobs are. The thing about that is they pay decent. Like, you can make a good wage on a good living working in aircraft, but they don't pay like oil jobs do, for instance. And it's very up and down. So layoffs and, moving around company to company and stuff. So
oil jobs.
Yes, but
what I'm saying is the better leadership in Oklahoma City, they've done a great job of diversifying
for sure.
industry so that when oil is down, the whole city doesn't tank. When aircraft is down in Wichita, it's like,
right. And that's where I was going with that, is like, even when things are good in aircraft, people don't have a whole lot of spare money. They're just living comfortably, with their day-to-day lives. They don't have the money to go to a professional sports game or buy a luxury car. Like, there's not a whole lot of like luxury cars running around Wichita compared to other cities and stuff. So
I feel like one company that's done a really good job is Cargill.
Yeah.
Like, I know people that work there and like just moving their facilities downtown and like, I don't know. That is a different industry. So that's.
Yeah. Even more than that, though, I would say Freddy's Frozen Custard.
It started in Wichita.
Yeah. Freddy's, Freddy was from Wichita. That's where it started. But anyway, if you haven't had Freddy's Frozen Custard, definitely go try it. No, you don't even have to have the custard. Get a steak burger and fries. So good.
Arguably the best burger and fries combo of any fast food. I might fight you on.
100%. In-N-Out Burger, way overrated. Five Guys, overpriced, overrated.
I do like In-N-Out.
In-N-Out's okay.
Their fries aren't
not Freddy's.
Freddy's though.
Nah.
That's it. There's lots of fast food places, and either the burgers are good or the fries are good. Freddy's is the best.
And we haven't even talked about the custard. The custard's so good. So.
Is this a Freddy's ad?
It is now, because I'm going to say the best thing about Kansas is Freddy's Frozen Custard.
Didn't Dairy Queen start there too?
Yeah, and Pizza Hut.
So,
and White Castle.
Ooh. So.
One of these things.
I think this is actually a fun fact. Wichita is like a testing ground for new food restaurants.
Why is that?
I don't know. I don't really.
It's because there's nothing else to do
there except eat.
Go eat. Literally, like if we call our friends in Wichita and we're like, which is another great thing about Kansas, is we have a lot of friends there. Sorry guys, forgot about you. If we call our friends, most of them have moved away. You're right. And we're like, hey guys, let's go do something tomorrow night. What do you want to do? And they're like, where do you want to eat? It's not even like any other question. It's just, where do you want to eat? And now there is Old Town in Wichita, which is
Warren Theater.
No, it's gone.
Oh.
They closed it. It's vacant in the middle of Old Town. So
and that's
Old Town is like
another good example.
The bar scene, and the nightlife, and it's okay.
Actually,
it's okay.
Old Town is better than Bricktown.
Ooh.
You don't have to pay for parking.
Yeah. Bricktown is the Oklahoma City night scene, by the way, guys.
Bricktown's very like, why? This is not supposed to be a Wichita versus Oklahoma City. Those are just like our two comparisons for places we've lived. So
Tulsa's more like Wichita. Tulsa's very similar to Wichita.
Tulsa would be Wichita if it didn't have Oklahoma City in the state and felt the pressure to be Oklahoma City.
Yes, instead we have Topeka and Wichita, both completely happy with being complacent and just trying to survive longer than the other one.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so
let's
if you
move
just
on
want
15
to
minutes.
live a slow-paced life
For not a lot of money.
for cheap and just live out your days.
Live out your days. Unbelievable. If there was
But
ever
you will
something
be going. I don't know. I'm pointing a lot. Sorry. You will be going to Kansas City and Oklahoma City a lot because that's where everything happens.
And that's a bonus. Like, I mean, that's a nice thing. You a few hours each direction, couple of hours each direction. Kansas City, Oklahoma City. You've got the big city stuff if you want it. Otherwise, just nice and chill in Wichita, honestly. So there's enough to do there. It's too boring for her. I could actually retire there, and it scares the hell out of her when I say that.
My kids joke that they're going to put me into a nursing home in Kansas when I don't have a say about it because they know how much I hate it.
This is cruel. Yeah. I'd be okay with that. Not the nursing home, but I'd be
am going to specifically write it into my will that they cannot do that. Wait, the will doesn't go into effect until you die.
Correct.
What is the living will?
Power of attorney or something.
Great.
Yeah.
Which one of my kids hates me the least?
Tough to say.
Quentin.
Yeah, that's a good call. Anyway, guys, so 15 minutes of mostly ranting about Kansas. But honestly, okay, here, I'm just going to say in closing, my thought on Kansas. It has its own beauty. Like, it's super flat. It is the flattest state. We've been to all of them. But there's something about it. Like, when I'm there, I feel at home. I feel peace. And I'm good. And I think a lot of other people feel the same. I've heard that from other people. She's not one of them.
No. There are a lot of flat places in this country that are prettier than Kansas. Montana, Wyoming.
Those aren't flat.
Maybe not Wyoming.
There's literally nowhere flatter than Kansas. But taking that aside, what are your closing thoughts? Montana's beautiful. Yeah. No.
I grew up there, spent a lot of years there. Appreciate it for what it is. It's like a bad relationship, probably. I don't know. Actually, why am I making this analogy? I don't have any. It's like a bad relationship that you like. You're good. You want to move on.
Move on. Yeah.
You're over it.
And I think that's an important thing to note that we haven't talked about this whole video. Tosha stayed there her entire upbringing until I dragged her out of the state kicking and screaming.
I dragged you out of the state.
You got the job to take us out of the state, but I literally dragged you out of the state because she was bawling as we drove down I-35 to Oklahoma City.
Because for 19 years of my life, I never went anywhere.
Yeah. So and here we are in Thailand shooting a video about Wichita. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Tosha was there her whole life. I was born there, and then, you know, when I was like, I don't even know what age, 6, 7, something, kindergarten age, we moved away, and I didn't come back again until high school. Like, I didn't come back to live until high school, and so I have like this nostalgia, and I'm a nostalgic person anyway. I love nostalgia, and I have this like quaint nostalgia about Wichita and just Kansas in general, that it's nice to me. It feels like home when I go back.
Would you like to go back to our first house we bought in Yukon and live there?
I'd be fine with that. I didn't want to move. You made me move. Tuttle, heck no.
Downtown?
Yes, absolutely. We'll go back.
I would go downtown. My point being, Rob would literally go back to our 1,300 square foot home creations home in Oklahoma, in Yukon, because he's nostalgic. This is why.
Not nostalgic. It was just.
You just said you used the word nostalgic.
But that has nothing to do with nostalgia. That's just like that was a nice little house, and it was fine. It was cheap.
The podcast we do is going to be a lot of you saying stuff and me going.
Yeah. It's the daily. That's what she does. She gives me that look. And I just keep talking, as you can see, because whatever. Okay, so there you have it. If you didn't grow up in Wichita and weren't traumatized by it, you're probably good. Living in Kansas. But if you
or if you grew up in like New York and hated your life because it was crazy, New York City,
even
you might
better.
like Kansas.
Yeah, if you don't like big
it's
cities.
not that at all. It's the complete opposite.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's people for it.
Absolutely.
I am not one.
Well, hopefully we haven't deterred you too much from Kansas. If you get a chance to drive through it,
just fly over it.
just fly over it. Yeah, for real. I-35 is not bad, and actually go through the Flint Hills. It's nice and pretty. You know, going from Wichita to Kansas City. That's okay. I had a breakdown in Flint Hills, but don't break down there because the tow truck's very far away. It's kind of remote. I-35 is beautiful, but if you're going out towards Colorado, just fly it. Don't drive. It's windy. It's flat. It's boring. There's some little cool stuff on the way, like not even along the way. It's kind of off the highway, but you got to go find it, and it's very spread out. So not necessarily a tourist destination. Anyway, that's our glowing review for our home state of Kansas.
Can we be done with this state now?
And we're done. Let's move on. What's the next one?
I don't know yet.
Texas.
Oh, Texas.
We like Texas. All right. Thank you guys for watching this video. Sorry we put you through that. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, please. Click the bell for notifications.
There's going to be videos about Thailand soon, not Kansas. So.
Thailand video, yeah. And we're going to recap all the continental 48 states that we have visited.
In the order that we went there.
Yep. So started in Oklahoma, went to Kansas, down to Texas. We'll have some new stuff for you soon. So thank you guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
I don't know what this was. This was like a half salute. This is like I'm saluting from my nose. We didn't kill each other. That was good.
Good.
Yeah.